In the last episode, we witnessed the rise of a new threat to humanity's fragile existence as Alex Carter stood at the edge of a vast, barren wasteland. The once thriving world now lay in ruins. The scars of environmental disasters and societal collapse still lingered. The weight of responsibility rested heavily on Alex's shoulders as he navigated through the treacherous landscape of a devastated world. The memories of his past endeavors still lingered in his mind as he stood amidst the skeletal remains of a once great city. The rusting hulks of abandoned machinery and the eerie silence of a long-abandoned settlement bore testimony to the devastating consequences of humanity's neglect. As he pondered the challenges that lay ahead, a message arrived from an unknown sender. The words on the worn paper were faint, but the message was clear. The fate of humanity hung in the balance. A knock on the makeshift door of his sheltered hideout broke the stillness. A gruff voice, tinged with a hint of desperation, pierced the air. "What do you want?" Alex asked, his voice laced with a mix of wariness and curiosity. The visitor was a hooded figure, their features obscured by the tattered remains of a once great cloak. A flicker of recognition danced in Alex's eyes as he took in the stranger's presence. "Are you here to trade or to gouge us?" Alex's voice was laced with a mixture of annoyance and suspicion as he eyed the outsider. "We aren't here to cause trouble," the hooded figure said, slowly pushing back its hood to reveal a young woman with piercing green eyes and shoulder-length dark hair. She was accompanied by a towering alien being, its slender body adorned with a dazzling array of bioluminescent patterns. This unexpected visitor from beyond the stars was in Zorvath, one of the fabled alien species that had been encountered on the war-torn planet. The being's arrival was accompanied by an entourage of smaller, grotesque creatures that seemed to be crafted from the very darkness itself. The darkness emitted a pungent aroma that seemed to sear the nostrils as the creatures skittered about, their very presence an affront to the senses. Alex's gaze narrowed, his eyes locked onto the alien envoy. "What brings you to this forsaken world?" A low rumble of thunder shook the air as he posed the question, his voice firm but tinged with a hint of unease. "We've come seeking your help," the woman replied, her voice steady and resolute. "Humanity is on the brink of collapse. Our last hope lies with you, Alex Carter," the enigmatic figure said, as the weight of the world's fate hung precariously in the balance. The woman's words hung in the air, heavy with the burden of their world's fate as Alex deliberated on the course of action to take next. As Alex pondered the woman's words, the Zorvath's bioluminescent patterns fluttered, casting an otherworldly glow on the desolate surroundings. The air seemed to thicken, heavy with expectation, as the stranger's entourage of dark creatures watched with unblinking eyes. "What makes you think I am the only one who can help?" Alex asked, his tone measured, though a spark of curiosity ignited within him. The woman's gaze never wavered. "You have a reputation, Alex Carter. You've defied the odds, united the forgotten, and forged alliances with the alien species. If anyone can save humanity, it's you." Alex's eyes narrowed, his mind racing with the implications. "What do you propose I do?" he asked, his voice laced with a hint of skepticism. The woman's expression turned grave. "A powerful artifact, hidden deep within the ruins of an ancient city, holds the key to humanity's survival. It's said to possess the power to revitalize the planet, to heal the wounds of environmental disasters and societal collapse." Alex's instincts screamed warning, but his curiosity got the better of him. "What makes you think I am the only one who can retrieve this artifact?" The woman's voice dropped to a whisper. "Because, Alex Carter, you're the only one who can negotiate with the ancient guardians of the city. They will not yield to anyone else." A shiver ran down Alex's spine as he recalled the whispered tales of ancient cities, hidden beneath the ruins of the old world. Legends spoke of powerful artifacts, forged in the heart of stars, waiting to be claimed by those brave enough to venture into the unknown. "I need more information," Alex said, his mind racing with the possibilities. What can you tell me about these guardians? The woman's eyes seemed to bore into his soul. They are ancient beings, older than the stars themselves. They possess power beyond your wildest imagination, but they are also capricious and their whims can be deadly. Alex's heart raced as he weighed the risks. He thought of the countless lives lost, the devastation that had ravaged the planet and the fragile existence humanity clung to. He knew that he had to try no matter the cost. "I am in," Alex said, his voice firm, his eyes locked onto the woman's. "Tell me where to find this ancient city." The woman's face lit up with a mixture of determination and hope. "Then let us embark on this perilous journey, Alex Carter. The fate of humanity hangs in the balance." As the woman's words hung in the air, the Zorvath's bioluminescent patterns pulsed, casting an otherworldly glow on the desolate landscape. Alex knew that he stood at the threshold of a new adventure, one that would take him deeper into the unknown, and further than he had ever gone before. The weight of responsibility settled heavily on his shoulders, but he steeled himself for the challenge ahead, ready to face whatever dangers lay in store. The woman led Alex through the ruins of the old world, traversing treacherous landscapes and avoiding roving gangs of marauders. Her entourage of dark creatures moved with an unnerving silence, their eyes fixed on Alex as if weighing his resolve. As they journeyed deeper, the air thickened with an eerie energy, as if the planet itself was awakening from a long slumber. They finally reached the outskirts of an ancient city, hidden beneath the rubble of a once great metropolis. The city's gates, adorned with mysterious runes, loomed before them like a portal to the unknown. Alex felt an electric thrill coursing through his veins as he gazed upon the ancient structure. The woman's voice was barely above a whisper as she issued a warning. "Be wary, Alex Carter. The Guardians are not to be trifled with. They will test your resolve, your courage, and your wits." Alex nodded, his mind racing with strategies and contingency plans. He knew that he had to be prepared for anything. With a deep breath, he stepped forward, the woman and her entourage falling into step behind him. As they entered the city, Alex was struck by the eerie silence that pervaded the streets. The air was heavy with the scent of ages past, and the whispers of forgotten civilizations seemed to echo through the ruins. His heart pounded in his chest as they approached a grand temple at the heart of the city, its entrance guarded by two imposing stone statues. The woman halted before the temple, her eyes fixed on Alex. "The artifact lies within. But to claim it, you must first convince the Guardians of your worth." Alex steeled himself, his determination burning brighter with every step. He approached the temple, the statues looming above him like sentinels. As he reached the entrance, the stone guardians came to life, their eyes blazing with an otherworldly energy. "You have entered this sanctum uninvited," one of the statues declared, its voice like thunder in Alex's mind. "State your purpose, mortal." Alex drew a deep breath, his words pouring forth with conviction. "I come seeking the artifact, a powerful relic that can revitalize my planet and restore hope to humanity. I am Alex Carter, a leader who has defied the odds and united the forgotten. I am willing to risk everything to ensure the survival of my people." The statues regarded Alex with an unblinking gaze, their energy pulsing with an ancient power. After an eternity, they spoke in unison. "You have shown courage, Alex Carter, but to prove your worth, you must first face the trials of the Guardians." Alex's gut tightened with anticipation. He knew that the trials would be brutal, but he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. With a resolute nod, he accepted the Guardian's terms, and the temple doors slid open, revealing a labyrinth of ancient mysteries and deadly trials. As Alex stepped forward, the woman's voice whispered in his ear, "May the gods of old be with you, Alex Carter. The fate of humanity hangs in the balance." Alex's heart pounded in his chest as he vanished into the temple, ready to face the unknown and secure the artifact that would decide the course of human history. Alex Carter stepped into the heart of the temple, the air thickening with an electric charge as the statues sealed the entrance behind him. He stood alone, surrounded by an endless expanse of darkness, the only illumination coming from faint, pulsing runes etched into the walls. Suddenly, the temple began to shift and tremble, the ground cracking open to reveal a pit of swirling, iridescent mist. The mist coalesced into a figure, its features blurred, yet radiating an aura of ancient, unforgiving power. "The first trial is the labyrinth of reflections," the figure declared, its voice a whisper that resonated through Alex's mind. "Here, you will confront the shadows of your own making." Alex steeled himself, recognizing the trap. The labyrinth was designed to exploit his deepest fears, to unravel the very fabric of his being. He knew that the Guardian sought to test not only his courage but also his capacity for self-reflection. With a deep breath, Alex stepped forward, the mist swirling around him as he entered the labyrinth. The air grew colder, the shadows deepening into twisted, nightmarish forms that seemed to pulse with his own heartbeat. As he navigated the ever-shifting maze, Alex confronted the darker aspects of his own psyche. He faced the fear of failure, the weight of responsibility, and the sting of past betrayals. Each reflection pierced his defenses, threatening to consume him, yet Alex drew upon his resolve, channeling the lessons of his journey to forge a path through the darkness. The labyrinth seemed endless, its twists and turns designed to exhaust and demoralize. Yet, with every step, Alex felt his conviction solidify, his vision for humanity's rebirth burning brighter like a beacon in the void. Finally, after what seemed an eternity, Alex emerged from the labyrinth, the mist receding to reveal the temple's central chamber. The statues awaited him, their eyes blazing with an expectant energy. "The first trial is complete," they declared in unison. "You have demonstrated the capacity for self-reflection. But the trials are far from over, Alex Carter. The true test of your worth has only just begun." As the statues spoke, the temple chamber began to shift, the walls unfolding like a puzzle to reveal a realm beyond the boundaries of time and space. Alex glimpsed stars and galaxies, ancient civilizations and technologies beyond his comprehension. In the heart of this realm, a figure stood, shrouded in darkness, its presence radiating an aura of unspeakable power. "The second trial awaits," the statues announced. "You must confront the architect of humanity's downfall, the being responsible for the catastrophic collapse of the planet." Alex's heart raced with anticipation, his determination burning brighter than ever. He knew that this encounter would reveal the secrets of humanity's downfall, and perhaps, just perhaps, offer a glimpse into the true nature of the conspiracy that had brought his people to the brink of extinction. With a deep breath, Alex stepped forward, ready to face the mastermind behind the apocalypse and uncover the truth that would change the course of human history forever. As Alex entered the realm beyond the temple, the air thickened with an otherworldly energy. The figure shrouded in darkness loomed before him, its presence suffocating. Alex felt the weight of his quest bearing down upon him, the burden of humanity's fate resting on his shoulders. "Who are you?" Alex demanded, his voice steady despite the turmoil brewing within. The figure remained silent, its darkness seeming to deepen, as if it were a void that could consume entire galaxies. Alex sensed ancient power emanating from it, a power that had shaped the course of human history. "Show yourself," Alex pressed, his determination fueled by the secrets he hoped to uncover. The figure slowly began to take form, its darkness coalescing into a being of ethereal beauty. Alex's breath caught as he beheld the being's face, its features a blend of human and alien, with skin like polished obsidian and eyes that burned with an inner fire. "I am Erebus," the being declared, its voice like a whispered promise of destruction. "I am the one who brought about humanity's downfall." Alex's anger flared, but he kept it in check, knowing that he had to keep his wits about him to uncover the truth. "Why?" he asked, his tone measured. Erebus smiled, its lips curling upward in a cruel, mirthless gesture. "I did it to save your species from itself," it replied, its voice dripping with a mocking sincerity. Humanity was on a path of destruction, ravaging its own planet, exploiting its resources, and perpetuating wars over petty differences. I merely hastened the inevitable. Alex's mind reeled as he struggled to comprehend the motivations behind Erebus' actions. You call that salvation? He spat, his outrage barely contained. You brought about the deaths of billions, the collapse of entire civilizations. Erebus raised a hand, its gesture silencing Alex. I call it mercy, it said, its eyes flashing with an otherworldly intensity. I gave humanity a chance to rebuild, to rise from the ashes and forge a new path. Alex felt his anger give way to a deep sense of sadness. You didn't give us a chance, he whispered, his voice heavy with the weight of his people's suffering. You took it away. Erebus' gaze seemed to bore into Alex's very soul. Perhaps, it said, its voice dripping with an unspeakable cruelty, but the choice was not mine to make. It was yours, Alex Carter, and it is yours still. The temple chamber began to dissolve around them, the stars and galaxies fading into the background as Erebus' words hung in the air like a challenge. Alex felt himself standing at a crossroads, the path ahead shrouded in uncertainty. What do you mean? Alex asked, his heart pounding in his chest. Erebus' smile grew wider, its eyes burning with an otherworldly power. You have the power to shape humanity's destiny, it said, its voice dripping with temptation. Join me, Alex Carter, and together we can forge a new world, free from the flaws of the past. Or refuse and watch as humanity teeters on the brink of extinction once more. Alex's vision blurred as he weighed the options before him. He knew that Erebus' offer was a trap, a seductive promise that would lead humanity down a path of servitude and dependence. Yet a part of him was tempted by the promise of power and the thrill of shaping the course of human history. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and Alex knew that his choice would have far-reaching consequences. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for the trials that lay ahead, and made his decision. I refuse, Alex said, his voice firm and resolute. Erebus' smile faltered, its eyes flashing with anger. Foolish mortal, it spat, its voice dripping with venom. You reject the gift of salvation and instead choose to cling to your precious free will. Alex stood tall, his determination unwavering. I'd rather die than serve you, he said, his words dripping with defiance. Erebus' laughter echoed through the chamber, the sound like thunder in Alex's mind. You will die, Alex Carter, it said, its voice dripping with malice, but not before you witness the destruction of everything you hold dear. The temple chamber began to dissolve, the stars and galaxies fading into the background as Erebus vanished into the shadows. Alex felt himself being pulled back into the real world, the air thickening with the weight of reality. As he emerged from the temple, Alex found himself back in the heart of the Galactic Council's stronghold. The counselors stood before him, their faces twisted with concern and suspicion. What did you learn? One of them asked, its voice cautious. Alex's mind raced as he processed the revelations he had uncovered. Erebus' words still echoed in his mind, the weight of humanity's fate resting heavy on his shoulders. I learned that Erebus is the one who brought about humanity's downfall, Alex said, his voice measured. It claims it did so to save humanity from itself, but I know the truth. It was an act of destruction, plain and simple. The counselors shifted uncomfortably, their expressions reflecting their unease. What does this mean for us? One of them asked, its voice laced with fear. Alex's eyes narrowed, his determination burning brighter with every passing moment. It means we have a new enemy, he said, his voice cold and calculating, one that will stop at nothing to destroy us. But it also means we have a chance to forge a new path, one that is free from Erebus interference. The counselors nodded, their faces set with determination. We stand with you, Alex Carter, one of them said, its voice firm. Together, we will rebuild humanity and forge a brighter future. Alex's heart swelled with pride and gratitude. He knew that the road ahead would be fraught with danger, but with the council by his side, he felt a sense of hope that he had not felt in years. As they began to discuss their next move, a faint energy signature caught Alex's attention. He turned to face the source, his senses on high alert. "What is it?" one of the counselors asked, its voice laced with concern. Alex's eyes narrowed, his heart pounding in his chest. "It's a transmission," he said, his voice low and urgent, "from an unknown source." The counselors exchanged worried glances, their faces reflecting their unease. "What does it say?" one of them asked, its voice barely above a whisper. Alex's eyes locked onto the transmission, his mind racing as he deciphered the message. "It's a warning," he said, his voice grim. "A warning that Erebus is not the only enemy we face. There is another, one that is far more powerful and far more deadly." The counselors gasped, their faces pale with fear. "What do we do?" one of them asked, its voice trembling. Alex's determination burned brighter with every passing moment. "We prepare for war," he said, his voice cold and calculating. "We gather our allies and we stand strong against this new threat. For humanity's sake, we cannot falter." The counselors nodded, their faces set with determination. Together, they began to make preparations for the coming battle, their hearts heavy with the weight of their responsibility. As they worked, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were running out of time. Erebus' warning still echoed in his mind, the words dripping with malice. "You will die, Alex Carter." Alex's thoughts were plagued by the ominous transmission as he worked tirelessly alongside the counselors to prepare for the impending war. The words repeated in his mind like a mantra, fueling his determination to protect humanity at all costs. With every passing moment, the weight of his responsibility grew, and the fate of humanity hung precariously in the balance. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the stronghold in a warm orange glow, Alex received a message from his trusted ally, Lyra. "Meet me in the eastern hangar," the message read. "I have vital information." Alex's instincts screamed warning, but he couldn't ignore the possibility of gaining crucial intel. He excused himself from the counselors and made his way to the hangar, his senses on high alert. As he entered the dimly lit hangar, he spotted Lyra waiting by a sleek, silver ship. Her usually confident demeanor was replaced by a look of grave concern. "What is it, Lyra?" Alex asked, his voice low and urgent. "I've received a message from an anonymous source," Lyra replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "It claims to have evidence of a traitor within our ranks. Someone who has been secretly working with Erebus to bring down humanity from the inside." Alex's eyes narrowed, his mind racing with the implications. "Do you believe it?" he asked, his voice cold and calculating. Lyra's eyes locked onto his, her expression unyielding. "I do, Alex. The message mentions a specific phrase, one that only a handful of people know. It's a warning, a signal that the traitor is close and will strike soon." Alex's determination burned brighter, fueled by a growing sense of urgency. "We need to investigate," he said, his voice firm. "I'll gather a team and start questioning our allies. We can't afford to take any chances." Lyra nodded, her face set with determination. "I'll start searching for any leads, Alex, but we need to move fast. If the traitor is as close as I suspect, we don't have much time." As Alex turned to leave, a faint energy signature caught his attention. He turned to face the source, his senses on high alert. "What is it?" Lyra asked, her voice laced with concern. Alex's eyes locked onto the signature, his heart pounding in his chest. "It's a trap," he said, his voice low and urgent. "Someone is waiting for us and they're not going to hesitate to strike." Lyra's eyes flashed with understanding and she reached for her weapon. "Let's move, Alex. We can't let them catch us off guard." With a deep breath, Alex charged forward, Lyra by his side. They sprinted through the stronghold, their footsteps echoing through the corridors as they raced against time to uncover the traitor and prevent a devastating betrayal. But as they turned a corner, Alex's heart sank. Before them stood a group of heavily armed guards, their faces twisted with malice. "Alex Carter," one of them sneered, its voice dripping with contempt. "You're under arrest for treason." Alex's eyes narrowed, his mind racing with the implications. He knew that he had to act fast, to outsmart his enemies and uncover the truth before it was too late. But as he looked around, he realized that he was surrounded, and the odds were stacked against him. In that moment, Alex knew that his greatest challenge was only just beginning. Alex's mind raced as he assessed the situation. The guards, once loyal to the human cause, now seemed to be working against him. He couldn't understand why they would turn on him, but he knew he had to think fast to get out of this predicament. "Lyra, fall back," Alex whispered, his eyes locked on the guards. "We need to regroup and figure out what's going on." Lyra nodded, her hand instinctively going to her weapon. "I've got your back, Alex. Let's get out of here." As they slowly backed away, the guards closed in, their weapons trained on Alex and Lyra. The tension was palpable, and Alex knew they were running out of time. Suddenly, a loud alarm blared through the stronghold and the lights flickered. The guards hesitated, their eyes darting towards the source of the disturbance. "Now's our chance," Alex whispered, grabbing Lyra's arm. "Let's move." They sprinted down the corridor, the guards hot on their heels. Alex's heart pounded in his chest as he desperately sought an escape route. They turned a corner and Alex spotted a ventilation shaft in the wall. "In here," he whispered, pushing Lyra towards the shaft. "We can lose them in the ductwork." Lyra nodded, and they both scrambled into the shaft. As they crawled through the narrow duct, Alex could hear the guards shouting and searching for them below. "What's going on, Alex?" Lyra asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Who's behind this?" Alex's mind raced with possibilities. "I don't know, but I have a feeling it's connected to the traitor Lyra warned me about. We need to find out who's pulling the strings and stop them before it's too late." As they crawled through the ductwork, Alex's thoughts turned to the counselors. Were they involved in the betrayal? Had they been playing him all along? The questions swirled in his mind, fueling his determination to uncover the truth. After what felt like an eternity, they reached a vent that overlooked the stronghold's central hub. Alex peeked out, his eyes scanning the area below. The counselors were gathered, their faces grave with concern. "What do you see?" Lyra whispered, her eyes locked on Alex's face. "It's the counselors," Alex replied, his voice low and urgent. "They're a meeting in emergency session. I think they're trying to decide what to do with me." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "We need to get closer, Alex. We need to hear what they're saying." Alex nodded, his mind racing with possibilities. He knew that the next few minutes would determine the course of humanity's future. Would he be able to uncover the traitor and stop them, or would he fall victim to their betrayal? With a deep breath, Alex carefully made his way out of the vent, Lyra by his side. They crept towards the counselors, their ears straining to pick up every word. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and Alex knew he had to act fast to prevent a catastrophic collapse. Alex's eyes locked onto the counselors as he and Lyra crept closer, trying not to make a sound. The tension was palpable, and he could sense the weight of the situation. "We have to take a stand," Counselor Adidia was saying, her voice firm. "We can't let Alex Carter continue to undermine our authority." "I agree," Counselor Zhang chimed in. "He's become too powerful too quickly. We can't trust him to lead humanity anymore." Alex's heart sank as he heard the counselor's words. He had suspected that some of them might be against him, but he had never thought it would come to this. "But what about the progress we've made?" Counselor Patel asked, her voice laced with concern. "We've rebuilt entire cities, restored ecosystems, and brought hope back to humanity. Are we really going to throw all that away?" "It's not about the progress," Counselor Adidia snapped. "It's about who's in charge, and Alex Carter is not the leader we need." Alex felt a surge of anger, but he knew he had to stay calm. He had to think to find a way out of this situation. "Lyra," he whispered, his eyes locked on the counselors. "I think I know what's going on. I think there's a traitor among them, someone who's been working against me from the inside." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "Who do you think it is?" Alex hesitated, his mind racing with possibilities. He had trusted these counselors, had worked with them to rebuild humanity. But now he realized that one of them might have been playing him all along. "I'm not sure," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "But I think it's someone close to me, someone who's been feeding information to our enemies." Lyra's expression turned grim. "We need to be careful, Alex. We can't trust anyone right now." Alex nodded, his mind racing with strategies. He knew that he had to act fast, to find out who the traitor was and stop them before it was too late. As he watched, the counselors began to disperse, each one heading back to their respective quarters. Alex's eyes locked onto one figure in particular, Counselor Amir, the one person he had confided in, the one person he had thought he could trust. "Counselor Amir," Alex whispered, his eyes locked on the man. "I think I know who the traitor is." Lyra's eyes followed Alex's gaze, her expression tense. "What are you going to do, Alex?" Alex's face set in determination. "I am going to confront him to find out the truth once and for all." Lyra nodded, her hand instinctively going to her weapon. "I've got your back, Alex. Let's do this." With a deep breath, Alex stood up, his eyes locked on Counselor Amir. He knew that this was a gamble, that it could go either way. But he also knew that he had to try, to find out the truth and stop the traitor before it was too late. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and Alex knew that he had to act fast to prevent a catastrophic collapse. Alex's eyes never left Counselor Amir as he approached him, his heart pounding in his chest. Lyra followed close behind, her hand on the grip of her pistol. The tension was palpable and Alex could sense the weight of the situation. "Counselor Amir," Alex said, his voice firm but controlled. "I need to talk to you." Amir turned, a hint of surprise on his face. "Alex, what's going on? You look like you've seen a ghost." Alex's eyes narrowed. "I think I know what's been going on, Amir. I think I know who the traitor is." Amir's expression changed, a flicker of guilt flashing across his face. Alex's heart sank, his suspicions confirmed. "Don't play dumb, Amir," Alex snapped. "I know it's you. You've been feeding information to our enemies, undermining my authority and putting humanity at risk." Amir's face twisted in anger, but Alex could see the guilt written all over it. "You're just paranoid, Alex," Amir spat. "You're so used to getting your way that you can't handle anyone questioning your authority." Alex took a step closer, his fists clenched. "I'm not paranoid, Amir. I am not stupid. I know what's been going on and I know it's you." Amir sneered. "Y'all never be able to prove it, Alex. Y'all never be able to stop me." Alex's eyes locked onto Amir's, a cold determination rising up. "I don't need to prove it, Amir. I just need to stop you." With a swift motion, Lyra disarmed Amir, her pistol pressed against his temple. Alex's heart raced as he realized the weight of what they were doing. "It's over, Amir," Alex said, his voice cold. "You're finished. You're going down for your betrayal." Amir's eyes flashed with anger, but Alex could see the fear lurking beneath. He knew that he had won, that he had finally stopped the traitor. But as they turned to leave, Alex's comms device beeped, a message from an unknown sender flashing on the screen. Alex's heart sank as he read the words, his world crashing down around him. "Alex, it's not over," the message read. "You may have stopped Amir, but y'all never stop us. We have the upper hand and we'll crush you and your precious humanity." Alex's eyes locked onto Lyra's, a cold dread spreading through his chest. He knew that they were in grave danger, that the stakes had just been raised to catastrophic levels. "We need to get out of here now," Alex whispered, his eyes scanning the surrounding area. "We need to warn the others, prepare for the worst." Lyra nodded, her face set in determination. "Let's move, Alex. We can't afford to waste any time." With a deep breath, Alex turned, his eyes locked on the unknown threat lurking in the shadows. He knew that he had to act fast, to protect humanity from the forces gathering against them. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and Alex knew that he had to risk everything to prevent a catastrophic collapse. Alex sprinted through the corridors of the Galactic Council's headquarters, Lyra by his side, her pistol drawn. They weaved past startled counselors and guards, Alex's heart racing with every step. The message on his comms device replayed in his mind, the words seared into his memory. As they burst into the main command center, Alex's team sprang into action. Maya, Jax, and Riker stood ready, their faces set with determination. Alex knew he could rely on them to get the job done. "Report." Alex barked, his eyes scanning the room. Maya turned from the holographic display, her expression grim. "We've detected a massive fleet gathering at the edge of the galaxy, Alex. It's a coalition of alien species, all of them hostile towards humanity." Alex's gut twisted with fear. This was it, the moment of reckoning. He knew that if they failed, humanity would be crushed beneath the heel of their enemies. "Prepare our defenses," Alex ordered, his voice firm. "We need to hold our ground until we can figure out who's behind this and what their endgame is." Jax and Riker nodded, already working on the defensive grid. Maya turned back to the holographic display, her fingers flying across the console. Lyra stepped forward, her eyes locked on Alex. "I'll get the word out to our allies, see if we can rally any support." Alex nodded, his mind racing. They needed to move fast to outmaneuver their enemies before it was too late. As Lyra disappeared into the comms room, Alex turned to Maya. "How long until the fleet reaches us?" Maya's face was pale, her voice barely above a whisper. "We have less than an hour, Alex. They're moving fast and they're not holding back." Alex's heart sank, the weight of the situation crushing him. He knew that he had to make a decision, and fast. He took a deep breath, his mind racing with possibilities. "We need to split our forces," Alex said, his voice firm. "Jax, take a team and prepare to defend our main stronghold. Riker, I need you to hack into the enemy's systems, see if you can find any weakness we can exploit." Jax and Riker nodded, already moving to carry out their orders. Alex turned to Maya, his eyes locked on hers. "Maya, I need you to stay here, coordinate our defenses and keep me updated on the enemy's movements." Maya nodded, her face set with determination. Alex knew that he could count on her to keep their defenses strong. As the room erupted into chaos, Alex turned to Lyra, his heart pounding in his chest. He knew that this was it, the final battle for humanity's survival. "Let's move, Lyra," Alex whispered, his eyes locked on the doorway. "We have a war to win." With a deep breath, Alex charged forward, Lyra by his side. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and Alex knew that he would stop at nothing to ensure their survival. As they burst out of the command center, Alex and Lyra sprinted down the corridors, their footsteps echoing off the walls. The air was thick with tension, the weight of the situation pressing down on them. They didn't have much time, and Alex knew that every second counted. They reached the main docking bay, where a fleet of ships was already preparing for launch. Alex's heart swelled with pride as he saw the makeshift fleet, cobbled together from scraps and salvaged parts. It was a testament to humanity's ingenuity and determination to survive. "Alex, we're receiving a transmission from the enemy fleet," Lyra called out, her voice raised above the din of the docking bay. Alex's gut twisted with anxiety as he turned to face the viewscreen. The image that greeted him made his blood run cold. A massive alien warlord, its skin a deep purple, its eyes blazing with fury, filled the screen. "You are Alex Carter, the leader of the human resistance," the warlord growled, its voice like thunder. "You have been a thorn in our side for far too long. It is time for you to surrender and face judgment." Alex's jaw clenched, his anger and determination boiling over. "I'll never surrender," he spat, his voice venomous. "You can take your judgment and shove it where the sun doesn't shine." The warlord's face twisted in rage, and Alex knew that they were running out of time. He turned to Lyra, his eyes locked on hers. "Get the fleet ready to launch," Alex ordered, his voice firm. "We need to take out their command ship and cripple their fleet." Lyra nodded, already moving to carry out his orders. Alex turned to face the viewscreen, his eyes locked on the warlord. "You want to take us down?" Alex sneered, his voice dripping with contempt. "Bring it on. We'll show you what humanity is capable of." The warlord's face twisted in fury and the transmission cut off. Alex knew that the battle was about to begin. He took a deep breath, his heart pounding in his chest. "Let's do this," Alex whispered, his eyes locked on the viewscreen. The battle raged on, the two fleets clashing in a maelstrom of laser fire and explosions. Alex's makeshift fleet held its own, but the enemy was relentless, pouring wave after wave of ships into the fray. As the fight dragged on, Alex's ship shuddered and lurched, taking hit after hit. The hull was breached, and the life support systems were failing. Alex knew that they couldn't hold out much longer. Just as all hope seemed lost, a fleet of alien ships burst onto the scene, led by the Theron, the towering four-armed warrior who had become Alex's unlikely ally. "We're here to even the odds," the Theron roared, its voice like thunder. "Let's take down these invaders and show them the power of humanity." The tide of the battle turned, and Alex's fleet surged forward, taking advantage of the sudden shift in momentum. The enemy command ship stumbled, its defenses breached, and Alex knew that it was only a matter of time before they emerged victorious. As the command ship exploded in a blaze of glory, Alex felt a sense of pride and triumph wash over him. They had done it. They had saved humanity from the brink of extinction. The battle was won, but at what cost? The galaxy was scarred, the fabric of spacetime torn apart by the intensity of the fight. Alex knew that it would take years, maybe even decades, to rebuild and restore order to the galaxy. But for now, Alex just smiled, his eyes locked on the stars. They had won, and humanity would rise again, stronger and more resilient than ever before. As the dust settled, Alex turned to Lyra, his heart full of gratitude. "We did it," he whispered, his voice barely audible. Lyra smiled, her eyes shining with tears. "We did it, Alex. We saved humanity." The weight of the moment crashed down on Alex, and he felt his knees buckle. He sank to the floor, Lyra rushing to his side as the crew cheered and wept around them. Alex looked up at Lyra, his eyes blurry with tears. "It's over," he whispered. "It's finally over." Lyra smiled, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's just beginning, Alex. The real journey starts now." As the cheers and tears died down, Alex rose to his feet, his eyes locked on the stars. The galaxy was waiting, full of endless possibilities and adventures. And Alex Carter, the legendary leader, stood ready to face whatever came next, proud, vigilant, and always prepared for the challenge.